Welcome back to another Sunday Walk video. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about Germany selling off Bitcoin. That's the number one story right now. People want to know why Germany is selling off, why right now, why in general. I got a little bit more to share. Also, I got something very exciting to share about what's coming up this week for me. And a few other things that's going on in my life. So, obviously, the big story from last week and even this weekend is why Germany is selling Bitcoin. No one could really figure that out, right? And I think a lot of people forgot how they got their Bitcoin in the first place. This was actually reported back in January of this year. So 5 months ago, Germany seized 50,000 Bitcoin. Actually, it wasn't seized, it actually was sent to the German government by someone that they arrested a long time ago. So I read up on a story. There was this guy that ran a legal movie streaming platform for years. I think it was from 2008 to 2013. And obviously, he got arrested, and he made a boatload of money with that site, which I believe he converted to Bitcoin. So when he first got arrested, I think he sent the German government like $25 million for the Bitcoin, but I guess over the years, I don't know, they've been prosecuting him or something, and finally he caved in and sent them 50,000 Bitcoin. At the time, it was worth $2.17 billion. I don't know how he had so much. I guess at the time when he was making money, he was just buying Bitcoin right at the beginning when it was just a few dollars each, or maybe under $10 or something. I have no idea how he accumulated so much, but it was reported back in January that Germany seized the largest amount from illicit activity ever in history, and it was $2.17 billion. So that was back in January, and supposedly the courts, they were trying to figure out what to do with it. So I guess their course of action now is to sell it. So keep in mind, I said $2.17 million. That was back in January. Obviously, Bitcoin has gone up since then. So they started selling last week, and they're up about like 50%. Their total holdings was, that 50,000 Bitcoin was over $3 billion. It was like 3.2, something like that. It's close to it, 3.2 or 3.3 billion. And they decided to dump 300 million, roughly, last week. So I think in Germany's eyes, whoever controls it, it's like, hey, we're up like 50%. We should be selling. So I think that's what it comes down to. And they're just selling. They're not, I'm reading that they seriously have no idea how to minimize the price impact. They seriously just divided it up, sent it to 4 exchanges, and sold it. Didn't try to reach out to them. Didn't try to do it with a bot so that they could do a lot of smaller sells. No, they just decided to just send it and dump it. So it's quite amazing. So whoever's in charge there, whoever's in charge of the Bitcoin, they just really didn't know what they were doing. They didn't consult any experts or anything. How, it's in their interest to try to minimize the price impact, obviously, right? When you're trying to sell billions of dollars of the Bitcoin, you don't want to just dump it on Coinbase. That makes no sense. So, yeah, but the last thing is, so Arkham's intelligence is tracking their software, or tracking their wallet, I should say, and the last few transactions actually show Bitcoin going inwards. So again, I don't know, because of how much press this received, maybe the powers that be are now thinking, okay, you know, we kind of screwed up. We could do this a better way. So maybe some of the Bitcoin that they were planning on selling, they moved back to their main wallet. I don't know. But yeah, the last few transactions has showed some smaller inflows back into that wallet that they were dumping from. So again, we won't know until this week whether they go continue to dump or they realize it's a mistake or whatever. But that's kind of the backstory. So two things I take from the story. Number one, it shows that holding works because because whatever they confiscated went up like 50% since January, right? And number two, whoever's in charge over there has no idea what they're doing. But yeah, that's kind of like the gist of it. Do they really have any greater agenda to suppress price, or for some other reason because they need the money or something? It doesn't seem like it. It just seems like this, they just decided, okay, this is time to sell for whatever reason, right? But besides Germany selling, ETFs had a large outflow too. I mentioned that in my yesterday's video, which I did a little differently. I showed my Lego room. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Whatever. I want to do something new. Maybe next week I'll do a tour of my garage or something. Maybe then more people will care. But yeah, well, you know, I mentioned this. Fidelity had a massive outflow. No idea why. Grayscale continues to have massive outflows. Only BlackRock is staying strong. And I think I know why, because Larry Fink just wants to dominate. He doesn't want to sell any of the Bitcoin in his fund. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. But a lot of fear from last week. So going to this week, what do I expect? I really don't know. I think a more sideways movement. I do think if you look at the charts, short term, if you look at short-term indicators, it does show that Bitcoin is oversold. So I do think that there's a good chance that, hey, this week we see a little bit of recovery back up to some of our previous levels, 65, 67,000, maybe even touch upon 70,000 if we get a good push. Do I expect Bitcoin to break below where we are right now? That's that 63.7, 63.8 mark. If we do, I think it's temporary. I think we stay above it. You know, what really caused last week to dump was really Germany. Germany dumped like $300 million of the Bitcoin on a spot market. Had they done so OTC, no one would even notice. There would be no price impact at all. But when you're dumping that much on a spot market, it does have an effect. And because of that, I do think a lot of Wall Street people also got a little fearful and started dumping too. So it's a cascading effect, right? So we'll see. If they continue to dump this week, hopefully it's not on the open market, not on the spot market. Hopefully they figured out, hey, there's an OTC market we can sell to. And if that's the case, and we don't have a lot of sell pressure this week, then obviously we're going to see that good recovery. If not, we may go sideways. But I do think from a technical standpoint, if you look at the short-term technical indicators, we are poised to go up. Long-term, of course, we are poised to go up. It's just a matter of really having patience and holding. You guys have heard this before. I mean, even with my Germany example, they held since January, maybe not on purpose, but just by holding from January to now, they've made 50%. Think about it. What other asset can you buy? You simply hold for 5 months and you're up 50%. Like nothing. I don't even think Nvidia's up that much. Maybe they are, but yeah, like really nothing. So again, it just shows you how strong Bitcoin is. Okay, and it is the asset you just want to hold long term. And you want to load up as much as you can while you still can, because even at where we are now, 63 or 70, it's still much, much lower than where we will be a year from now end of even mid 2025, end of 2025, we will be well above six figures, and you will have no one to blame but yourself for not DCAing while prices are still low. That's really what it comes down to. That's really it. All right, so there's that. So we'll see what happens this week. I see more choppiness sideways, but me being a eternal hopeful bull, I do think that there's a good chance that we do see a little recovery this week. Hopefully back to 65, 66, and maybe even push a little bit further to 70,000. You know, whenever we fall to 63, 64, 70,000 seems like it's so far. It's really not. We could hit 70,000 in one day. Bitcoin moves 10% pretty easily, so that can happen anytime. So do not think that, oh, it's so far away. It's really not. All right, so that's Germany Bitcoin this week. What else? I did say that this coming week I have something exciting. I'll still be streaming tomorrow morning, but afterwards I'll be flying to LA because I am joining a new show or existing show as a whale. Yeah, I'll be joining Killer Whales. So obviously a lot of you guys know that a couple years ago I was on a show called The Next Crypto Gem. It was my very first experience with a filming crew, with a production company, with a filmed show. It's quite different. That's where I met Brian and Leia and a lot of the teams who now have fought in IFC. You know, I've built some really close relationships. So regardless if the show really worked out or not, I still enjoyed it because of the relationships. Really, that's what it comes down to. And you know, the competing show that came out right after ours was Killer Whales. But you know, now they're doing season 2. They added more judges, more projects to go be on. They asked me to join. I'm like, why not, right? Maybe I can have a good time with some of the other whales, form that bond, even though I know most of them. I'm actually quite close with the AD Bros, with Mario now. Wendy, we meet often at conferences, events. Ran, well, not much to say about Rand, but I'm looking forward to meeting some of the other whales that will be there. I don't know how many days I'm going to be filming, but I'll be in LA for most of this week, and we'll see how it goes. And I can't really share who's on there, you know, and none of this will be like, you can't watch any of the episodes until November, so it'll be quite a long ways before anything that gets filmed gets published. Anyway, so yeah, I'll be away for that for a few days, but I will be streaming tomorrow my usual time, 8:30, and then I'll have to fly to LA for that. It's a cool experience, I think. And again, it's all about networking, building relationships. I have found that when I started down that path, and it really started after I met Brian Evans, that's when doors opened for me, because prior to that, I always stood in my lane. I felt like I had enough with my channel and of course you guys. But really after meeting him and seeing how connected he was and seeing a different world out there, that's really when things opened up for me in a big way. Even with the IFC, without having the connections that I have or I've built, no way it could have been as successful as now. And just wait until the next few fights, IFC 3, 4, and 5, they will get even bigger and better, and we got some crazy people lined up. Okay, so that's that. What else is there? Well, I've been still, in terms of my health, still been exercising. Yesterday, I attempted those dreaded stairs, 150 steps. I did it in 90-degree weather. It was like 93 out. I still did I did like 7 up and downs or whatever, and walked this circle. It was brutal, but it was much easier than a few weeks ago. So still working out, still cutting in terms of what I'm eating, still trying to do what I can. But I'll say my knee, good thing I'm on carnivore, because prior to that my knees were so bad that I couldn't do anything. Now they are sore and I can feel them inflamed, but it's not like injury inflamed. It's just like, I think I'm just starting to push it way more than before. So I'll see how it goes. If I'm pushing it too far and the knee's bad, then I have to push it or dial it down a bit. But I started taking fish oil, which people suggested, collagen, which I've been taking, and still sticking with carnivore and adding some veggies in there. So yeah, still trying to get healthier. All right, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna try to finish this walk. It's actually nice today. It's like 70 degrees in the shade. It's actually nice, but yesterday 90-something degrees. This whole week has been like 90-something. So today is actually quite nice, even though it's high 70s. But yeah, that's it. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow, same time as usual, and we'll see where Bitcoin goes this week. Take care. Bye-bye.